Aloha and welcome to Tiki Tuesday Talks. Very excited to be back after a hiatus for a week for everybody to get out and vote in the U.S. Thanks for doing that. Biggest turnout ever. Pretty exciting. Let's welcome our guests here. Sly, what's going on, man?
What's happening? How you doing?
Doing all right. Doing all right. Glad to have you.
Excellent. Glad
Where
to be
are you at right now?
Where?
Yeah.
In the HQ. I'm in the back cave. Yeah.
Tell us about that painting you have right there.
Oh, the Trechkov. This is one of my favorite paintings. So this is the Green Lady. And basically this is one of the first pieces of popular art. So we're talking about community, right? And this came out in the 60s. There was a couple of artists and they mass produced these portraits. The art world hated them because up until that point, you know, art was still slightly exclusive and something that rich people had in their homes. And all of a sudden, everyone was buying art from like Woolworths and the local chemist. So literally during this period in the UK, you'd see, I want to say 70% of households had some variation of this artwork. If not this, then the ladies on the swans. Maybe it was a little kid clown crying, but there was all this like kitsch artwork that just kind of filled the houses. And so this has a little special place for me because this also happens to be the main image in Trailer Happiness. So you've been to Trailer, right? You guys have been to Trailer.
Yeah.
So when you come into Trailer, there's an area called the Den. You can Google it. But we've got like this image blown up crazy large on the back wall. And we're actually in the book. So there's a book about the artist, and we got featured in it for that piece of artwork, which is nice because we definitely didn't license it.
There you go. Yeah, come on in. Yeah. This is Natalia, my lady, who it's her birthday.
How you doing? Oh, happy birthday!
Thank you. I'm so honored to do this when you're on. That's very cool. I'm crashing your little podcast.
I love that.
Yeah.
She's going to be with us later for 5 questions.
Okay. Awesome.
Good exit. Well done. We got all the production values over here.
It was super smooth.
Yeah. No expense has been spared. Steva, what's going on?
Hi.
How's it going?
Good. I'm in Birmingham, as mostly always. It's, we're feeling after effects of Hurricane Eta.
Oh yeah.
It's a little bit rainy, but it's still warm, 70 degrees in November. Welcome to Alabama.
Everywhere's warmer than here. I'm in Vegas. It's like 30s at night. I don't know what's going on. It's like the depths of the winter already here.
No, I don't like that.
Sorry, Sly. It's Fahrenheit. Doesn't make any sense.
None of it does to me, to be honest. I'm like, yeah.
Well, we can blame you guys for it, really, but cool. Aaron, what's happening?
What's going on? How are you?
Not
good. Good. Joining you from the balmy, tropical oasis of Baltimore right now with the warm 75-degree weather day. So
it's a good day for secrets, huh? Good day for secrets.
Let's go.
We should have a show where you are live from secrets.
I'm about that. I am all about that. Let's try to figure this out in December.
Let's figure it out. Yeah. So Sly, there's a spot called Secrets, which we had a team call last week, and we went on about an hour-long tangent. It's in a town called Ocean City, Maryland, and it's basically like a Jamaican resort, 30 bars, whatever, on the bay in this kitschy beach town, which actually resembles a lot Wildwood. So if you ever end up in the Maryland coast, be sure to check out Secrets.
Secrets, yeah?
Yes.
I'm on it.
The slogan is "Find us and get lost." So yes,
Yeah, we have a Secrets in London, but it's a slightly different concept.
Yeah.
I leave it to your imagination.
I can only imagine.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. All right, we're gonna catch you guys a little bit. Okay, let me give you guys a little breakdown here on what we're doing today. Sly, owner of Trailer Happiness in London. If you guys didn't catch it or weren't familiar, topic community spirit, as sponsored by Appleton Estate. As usual, chat box and questions. If you're here or on Facebook Live, hit us with questions. I'll integrate them through the show. Please do share the event. Always appreciated. Tip jar can be found on the Crowdcast, PayPal at trailerh.com. We'll do the presentation, we'll do the cocktail sessions, and then the Tiki fam. Sly, I'll give a whirl at this on your background. Born and bred in Notting Hill. Almost fate when became the owner of West London's acclaimed mid-century tiki community bar, Trailer Happiness, in 2012. Lifelong love of rum, started doing a summer trip of St. Lucia at age 18, trying some powerful local rums. So good, those rums. And he grew his knowledge of the spirit to become one of London's leading rum aficionados. You spearheaded a series of events, flying guests to St. Lucia for its annual jazz festival, in various places across the capital, including Trailer Happiness, built a strong relationship with the staff and the previous owner. In 2012, Hank planned to relocate to New York. Oh, that would have been cool.
Would have been pretty cool, man.
I heard the trailer was potentially going to close down. Speaking of close friends, he decided to buy the business with the money he made selling properties, and the rest is history. So I'll leave it to you at this point to take us from there.
Yeah, I just want to shout 52 Chefs for that picture. He took that picture. We were in Athens for the Clumsies, the Clumsies Tiki Beach Party.
Nice.
Which was insanely good.
Yeah, I've heard only great things about that bar, that team.
Yeah, they do things properly. Yeah, they do things the right way.
That's rad. Right on. Should we get into your deck, good sir?
Yes, let's do this, man.
All
so
right, let's do this.
I will
Boom. Beautiful.
So there we go. Let's start off with this image. So
great image. Looks fun.
It's a fun time, isn't it? I think that encapsulates a lot of what Trailer Happiness is about, the spirit of Trailer Happiness. Joyful chaos. So as you mentioned in the bio, I purchased Trailer Happiness in 2012. And since then, my knowledge of running a bar and my knowledge of rum has increased over the years. And I've made some amazing connections and met a bunch of incredible people. And the overall topic, or the overall subject of this conversation I wanted to have with you guys today is about community spirit. And I guess for me, the purpose of Trailer Happiness and my purpose as a bar owner is to provide something of quality, to provide something of value to my community. And that community can be the immediate community of people that happen to live in, W11, London W11, or it could be the wider community, which is, my rum fam, my rum people, and, my other friends and family from around the world. Apologies if you can, if you heard those sirens.
Yeah, feels natural to me. I'm missing New York. I hear those sirens, man.
All right, cool. London, we have sirens too. So let me see if this is working. So yeah, this is just this is my baby, Trailer Happiness, and it's situated in West London, in an area called Notting Hill, which you may be familiar with because there was a movie called Notting Hill, which was the most unrealistic interpretation and visualization of Notting Hill that you could ever hope to see.
Didn't really connect to my knowledge.
Yeah, it just bad. Like if you want to know what Notting Hill is not, then watch that movie. I hate it. But yeah, Notting Hill is a unique part of London, and it's unique because it is one of the few places that has a real mashup of class, culture, and race. And this is predominantly because after the Second World War, this particular part of London suffered, as much of London did, but suffered a lot of bombing. And the bombs in this particular part of London, very sporadic. So you had complete decimation in one spot, completely untouched on another block, and so on and so on. So it was just kind of scattered, almost like acne. You know what I mean? Like a rash. It was just little areas of destruction. Obviously, the people that lived there during those times were not, or a lot of Londoners at that point, were not prepared to take their chances, and many of them moved to the countryside, or just left their London homes and went and lived elsewhere. So you have some really beautiful homes in this part of London, some very expensive properties, but then you also have a lot of council blocks and estates scattered and kind of mixed in amongst the affluence and the wealth. So what that's done is that's created a very interesting community and a very interesting mix. And I think the area has been incredibly successful because of that. It's one of the areas where there was a period where literally any musician you can name has been to Notting Hill, literally just roads away from this picture, to record albums. So Marvin Gaye, Bob Marley, the Beatles, Carly Simon, like everybody has been there. Blur, Damon Albarn. So it has a really strong kind of connection to arts and music. And this is true of the Caribbean element that moved into Notting Hill. So there was a period, again, after the war, when London was rebuilding and they needed bodies, they needed assistance. So they asked, or they invited members of the Commonwealth, which obviously included the Caribbean ex-colonies, to come and work and support and to grow London, to kind of repair London. And because this part of London was in such disrepair, this was the place that they felt would be best to put the minorities, the ethnics, and what have you, that they didn't necessarily want spoiling the nice parts of London. So you grew this really interesting melting pot.
It's interesting, as an aside, I used to live in Washington, D.C. I don't know if you've ever been there.
I haven't yet, which is embarrassing. I need to go there. I got to check out my boys.
I would avoid it for a little bit right now. But yeah, so I lived in an area called U Street, which was like in the 20s, huge jazz, African-American, like Renaissance scene, Duke Ellington, all this stuff. It really fell into bad times in like the 60s, 70s, 80s. And then when I was there maybe 10 years ago, and then the 10 years prior, it really kind of sounds like a lot what you were describing. It's a super interesting cultural mix.
Yeah.
A lot of great character, some rich, interesting people there. Obviously, people have been there a long time, a really big mix of kind of cultural backgrounds and things that was pretty dynamic.
Exactly. I think dynamic is the one, because it's something that you couldn't really plan if you tried it.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
This is just a little shot inside Trailer Happiness, give you an idea of the kind of vibe and the atmosphere. It's quite a kind of like old school retro mid-century bar with a strong tiki influence. But it's one of those places that has a lot of personality, and when you come into it, you immediately become part of Trailer Happiness. And it's kind of how I see New York. When I used to visit New York, I always felt that New York's one of those places that as soon as you get there, you just become a part of it. It's just like, who are you? What can you contribute? Cool. You're now a part of this big thing. So that's kind of how I like to look at Trailer Happiness. And I guess it makes sense that this was the reason why I didn't actually make it to New York. It's my own little piece in West London. So being from London, I grew up with bars and pubs. And pubs are a very what's the word I'm looking for? An intrinsic, a kind of a very important part of the fabric of British culture. Pubs, as we know, historically, pubs and taverns have been incredibly important meeting places and social places where ideas are shared, where people meet, people get together. And for me, as somebody who is very much a people person, is very much interested in my community and other people, I've always gravitated towards these kind of environments, bars and pubs, and always enjoyed that kind of connection and the possibility to connect with people that you don't know. So this was part of my upbringing, and this is kind of what led me to get into the industry, and kind of gravitate towards it. Now, talking about the history of pubs in the UK, it hasn't been all rosy, right? And for sure, the relationship between the pub, the drinking house, and the establishment, whether that's the police or that's the council, has always been a little bit precarious, right? So there's a reputation. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Gin Lane or Mother's Ruin, or a period in London where there was incredibly high levels of alcoholism. And this is the reason why we have many of the laws that are in place today stem from, a period where London was, you mix poverty and alcohol and you get some serious issues.
And this is like the bathtub gin era, right?
Exactly.
Where it's like really rough stuff causing problems when it's not made right, etc.
Yeah, well, a lot of the bathtub gin era is almost similar to prohibition. It was more because of the draconian laws that were put in place to kind of to stop people drinking. People started to just make their own.
Got it.
So that was that. So it was actually a response to a government decision. It feels so similar. Actually, thinking about the as I sit here in the second lockdown, often the government make choices and make decisions that sound good without really thinking it through and without entertaining the potential consequences and side effects of their decisions. So you had this situation where they created some pretty drastic negative scenarios, and they and we continue to suffer for them, basically, just from the way that they choose to tackle issues. And for me, the issue is always communication with the bar owner is much more useful than restrictions or simply imposing bans and arbitrary rules and regulations. It's much better to talk to the people who actually work in the industry and ask them for their advice, give them the information that you have. And I think that's something that definitely I've tried to do during my time as a bar owner. Now, although I say that I think that a lot of the kind of the opinions of bars are very negative. And I got into an Uber the other day, and the Uber driver was telling me that he was like, yeah, you know what? We were talking about COVID, and he said, yeah, you know what? The problem is the bars. The bars are the problem. Obviously, he had no idea that I was a bar owner.
Right.
And I said to him, "What?" So, oops, my mic just fell down. I said to him, "So it's not the offices, no, it's not the schools, it's the bars." He's like, yeah, because the bars." And it's like, well, we've documented that bars are actually one of the least problematic areas in terms of COVID transmission because of all of the extreme measures that we have to take in order to keep everybody safe. But it doesn't matter because the reputation precedes, right? Some of that reputation is justifiable. There is no question that alcohol, if abused and if distributed without measure, can cause a host of issues and a host of problems. And so for me, it was important that